we are going to be looking at models. What are models? We say that Python is a very strong language because it has libraries. It has all these functions that are already written that you can easily import and use. So we import them by importing models, and we're going to be looking at these models. So I'll quickly get to my folder, Python tutorial, head over to new file. So once I head over to new file, I'm going to simply type models.py, which is what we are going to be using, model.py. And once it opens up, we are going to start just like the way we normally do before. We are going to explain what a model is, and we'll simply say that a model is actually, models are basically a file. A model is a file containing a set of functions. So this model is actually a collection of functions. So these models, some of them are core models. They are already in Python already there. You just go and use them. You don't need to write them from scratch. So function, a model is basically a file containing a set of functions to include. So these functions, you include them in your application. So to include in your application. That's what a model is. Now there are different types of models that you can have. I'm going to go to the next line. There are different types of models that you can have. So what are these different types of models? You can have what we call the core Python model. Core Python models. So I'm going to be giving us examples of all these models. Then we also have the models that you can install using pip. Models that you can install using the pip. Pip is the package manager for Python. If it is JavaScript, we have what we call the npm, the node package manager. For Python, you use the pip. So pip is a package manager for Python. If you're using JavaScript or Node.js, the package manager is known as npm. So we have models that you can install using pip package manager. So a very good example of this type of model is the Django. And you know that we are going to be doing Django if we want to learn web application using Python. So that's a very good example. So we have the core Python models, and you have models that you can install using the pip package manager, including which the example is Django. Then finally, we have what we call custom models. Custom models are the ones you create by yourself. So you can actually create your own model so that you can use them in order of your files or order of your applications. So now let's start by looking at the core models, the core Python models. How do you bring them in? You simply bring in the core Python models by using the keyword import. That's how you bring them in, import. So a good example of a core Python model is the datetime model. So this datetime model contains functions that are around date. If you want to do anything with date, you use them to do it, so that you don't have to write code that will do work on date for you. So another way of importing a core model is by saying, when you say import datetime, you're importing everything in the datetime model. But if you want to import a specific something from the datetime model, you simply say from datetime import date. So you're importing specifically date from datetime as a package. So take note of that. Also, you can also import time, which is also another model. You can import time. There is also a specific file inside time known as time again. So you can also import that very one by saying from time import time. So that is how you go about using core model. So once you import, you cannot use it. So let's check out how we can use this importation that we've done to do something. So what do we want to use it to do? We want to use it to check today's time. So if we say today equal to, okay, let me actually run this. So let's create a variable today and call it datetime dot date dot today. Want to get the date of time of today. Datetime dot date dot today. Please make sure that this is dot. So let's try and run this. Control S. Then we'll come down here. Why am I having Python? I want to use bash. So to run, what do? We simply say Python space models dot py. That's how we run. Okay, it's not coming out. Who can tell me why it's not coming out? You can tell me. Because we've not done what? Not printed it out. So let's take a look at this. You can see. Can you see the date there? 2028 and what? 13. That is today's date. So you can try this out. You can also print out the timestamp. You can print out the timestamp. You can print out a whole lot of things. So let's say timestamp is equal to, we're using this function time because we've already imported time. That's why we're able to use time. So if we save this, okay, let's print it out so that we can see it. So if we say print in bracket timestamp, Control S, then we'll come down here and run this. You can see the timestamp. So you can actually work on this, and you are not writing the code that does this time and date. You're simply importing it from these models because all these are already written for you and they are there. So you simply import and use them. So those are the examples of the core models. So like I said before, you also have what we call the PEEP models. The PEEP models. So what did I say is these PEEP models? PEEP models, you have to import them. You have to first of all install them before you can use. So let's say you want to bring in Django, you have to do pip install Django. But this has to be done in the command line. Pip install Django. So that's how you have to bring Django in first before you can even start using Django. Then if you want to import your custom model, that's another thing you can do very well. You can import your custom model. Custom model simply means a model that you created by yourself. You can actually create a model by yourself. So how do you create a model? So you can go to another file and create a validator that you want to use on another file. So once you're able to create this validator, when you now come to the main file where you want to use it, you can simply say import, just the normal way you import the core function. Then you now put validator. That means you've created a validator function elsewhere, just the way you have your variable.py, conditional.py, you must have created a validator function. We're going to be looking at this much later, but I want you to know how you can use them. So you can also say from validator, which is the name of the file that you created. We've not created it, but I'm assuming that you create it. So if you want to import a particular function that is inside that file, so you say from validator, which is the name of the file, that means you already have validator.py. Then inside that validator.py, you have another function written using the def keyword. So you are now importing it, and the name of this function is actually validate what underscore email. So you wrote a function that can validate email. So that's how you bring it in. So those are the various models, types of model. If you're using a pip model, you have to do pip install to install that model. If you're using your own custom made, you can just import it and it will still work. But you have to also check the destination of the file so that the importation will work properly. So in subsequent classes or when we have time, because we are moving very fast, we should be able to create this validator file and create this validate email. So, okay, let me give it as an assignment that somebody will win 200 from. So create a simple file validator.py, then inside it, because we've already learned how to create a function, inside it, create a function called validate underscore email. So let this function do a simple thing. You can just do a simple operation that returns a boolean of true or false, or let it just print out a simple thing. Just print. You understand? After creating the function, let it print out something. Just the way we did before. You know, we created the two functions. When we are learning function, we created two types of function. The one that had returns a value and the one that just the other one, isn't it? The one that printed hello, my name is Augustine. Do you remember? Good. So write a simple function like that. But let the function name be validate email. Let it not be say hello again. You understand? And let the file name be validator.py and not function.py like you had before. Can you understand the assignment? So I'll check it through. If I see somebody that have done something that is extraordinary, that person will win the 200. Yeah. So this video will be ending. Thank you. God bless you.